I think maybe Ben's having some withdrawals from the road. He's been out there pretending to drive, and he even has the windshield wipers going.
Seriously, Beck has been doing this, and it's kind of starting to creep me out. Let's see. What were you doing? Did you seriously just make a trip to the motorhome to go to the bathroom?
Well, I like your toilet paper
Honey,
here, but...
honey.
What are you doing, Ben?
What? It's gonna get cold tonight.
Another bear was shot during an attack on a dog. Troopers say the hide, skull, and claws were surrendered to the state.
Hello guys from our hometown in Seward, Alaska. How are you today? Well, I guess we ought to fill you in on what we've been up to for about the past week. And we got a lot done, but it was a week of just decompressing and getting back to home life. And home life has been an adjustment. Truthfully, it is kind of nice and refreshing because you know, the motorhome can get a little cramped at times, but it has been great to be home and catching up with friends and doing some of our favorite activities. Part of everyday life here in our small town is checking the mail because there's no home delivery. Everybody has to have a P.O. box. One little secret is you don't have to go out the main entrance. For the past 8 years, I've been able to use this. So for the traveler, something really cool is our city pretty much has the entire waterfront by the downtown district designated as a park and a campground. There are hundreds upon hundreds of campsites here. It was also pretty much wiped out after the tsunami, I believe, in '64, right, honey? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the Good Friday earthquake caused a tsunami, which left a big impact on our town. And now this area is pretty much dedicated to a park and a campground. The campground also has a dump station and water fill up. Even though it's a wet, soggy day, it's still a great day to go for a walk. So there's something else I wanted to tell you guys about, and it has to do with our good old friend, the F-150. So a few hours after we got home, I went to go check on the F-150, and the battery was dead. No surprise there. But ended up popping the hood and found a nest of the little spruce cones that a squirrel had been stockpiling in the engine compartment. I didn't see any chewed wires or anything like that, but it took me a solid, what do you think about it? 3 hours just to get most of them out, because they were like underneath the intake manifold and the valley of the V8 and shoved here, shoved there. A lot of work went into stockpiling all those spruce cones. So we got lucky, and she's been running like a champ ever since we've been home.
So yesterday we went fishing and got 6 salmon each and dropped it off at the processor. Today we have to pick it up. It'll be vac packed and frozen for us. One of the other awesome parts of this place is they have one of my favorite little gift shops in town. Steve and Elle own this shop. They're some friends of ours, and one of the things that I also really find wonderful about this store, I can't like stop looking everywhere, is that Elle makes sure she's the only person in town who sells each of the items in her store. So everything you find here will be unique to this store in Seward. It's a pretty cool thing.
There it is, honey.
Where am I gonna sit?
Just keeping your seat cold.
I think you're supposed to keep the seat warm.
36 pounds of silver salmon. So another fact of life in Seward is you kind of have to go to the Safeway every now and then. And this trip is for dog food. Is it just us, or has Amazon's service gone to just horrible? Yeah, we used to be able to get things like in 3 days. Now it takes forever, no matter what part of the country you're in. So we normally get the dog's Wellness brand dog food, but I also know that they like Beneful, so that's what they're getting for the next week. Well guys, we're not coming home to an empty freezer. You know, plenty of brats, caribou burger, the big old caribou roast, and now 36 pounds of silvers. And it will only be a matter of time before we need to plug in the second freezer. I don't know if we've ever showed you guys the basement of our house. So this is one of our spare bedrooms in the house. It does have a view of the dog run, but we ended up putting a film on the window so you don't have to see a dog run. I was thinking of turning this room, or this would kind of be like the living room area of our basement, into a studio. What would be nice would be all the lighting that we would get from these windows, but I'm concerned about the audio. Is it a bit echoey in here? And I know there's probably a few things that could be done to reduce the echo and soften things up, like maybe laying down a rug or something, but I just don't know if the acoustics are gonna be good in here. Right down here, we have another bedroom and a full bathroom. And on up the stairs. So this is a new precaution that we have to take, guys. Old Remy here is, for the most part, blind. He actually was doing very well in the motorhome because there was not much room. But he's now bouncing all around the house. But he's just such a happy boy still. So he's not in pain, but we just love our dogs so much. How you doing, big guy? How's the little stinker doing, huh? How you doing? So another problem with his vision loss, come on buddy, come on, let's go outside, is that the dog run has stairs and we don't want him falling down the stairs. Come on, let's go potty. Down. Yeah, there we go. Okay, not too fast. Okay, there you go. You're all set. I know you're confused. Come on, I'll show you the way. Come on. This way. All right. See, we have to help him up the stairs to make sure he doesn't fall. And then he kind of just bounces his way around from there. Okay. Okay, go on in. Okay guys, you might be curious about this, but I have some numbers for you. When we left the house, the RV was at 69,183 miles, and right now we're at 85,377, which makes a grand total of 16,194 miles. Not bad for a simple road trip. So as you can tell, we are back in the motorhome, and it's not because we were lonely for her or missed her or any stuff like that, like we were fooling around in the beginning of the vlog. It's because we need to make a trip to Anchorage, and routine trips to Anchorage are a fact of life when you live in these small towns surrounding Anchorage. You know, we need to go up for routine like dental cleanings and eye exams and stuff like that, and we were able to get like a bunch of appointments all in a matter of a day and a half, so it's awesome. And hotel rooms in Anchorage are very unique because a decent, safe, habitable, clean hotel room in the summer months in Anchorage is a solid, probably like $200 a night. It's a ripoff. You know, of course they have, you know, 3 to 4 months to make all their money, But still, that is a very large chunk of change to be putting out all the time. And then if you do the math on what a decent hotel room costs versus the amount of trips one would make to Anchorage, it really doesn't take much to cover the motorhome payments for a whole calendar year. So that was one of the main reasons why we bought our motorhome, because we were up in Anchorage all the time.
Well, we've been home for about a week now, and we're definitely waxing and waning on the right time to sell Nellie. We had originally planned to come home and get her ready to sell this week and be done with it, and then I was able to get all of our doctor's appointments scheduled this week, and so we were like, well, that's a bad idea, because we need a place to stay in Anchorage. It's a really tough decision to decide when to sell her. We generally use our motorhome until the first week of November here in Alaska, so we're looking at several more months potential of being able to use her. And then if we wanted to, we could sell it in the springtime and instead, and it'd probably be easier to sell at that time. Not too many people probably want to buy a motorhome even now, because you know, we're 6 weeks from the end of summer here, and then you have an Alaska winter hanging over you before you can use it again. So we're just really undecided. We're not committed one way or the other, but we did decide no matter what, we needed Nellie this week to go up to Anchorage, and so we'll make a decision later. We'll be sure to share it with you, but just lots of tough decisions, trying to time everything just right. It's never gonna happen that everything falls into place just perfectly, you know, like you're just gonna have to eventually make some decisions and ride it out.
Alright guys, we have arrived at a sweet little boondocking spot off of Portage Glacier Road, kind of at the end of Turtigan Arm, and when the winds came up, they reviewed this place, and we've been, you know, wanting to check it out, but it's pretty nice. There's somebody settled in on that end, and then it's right on the river. Somebody's camped right there, but there was a little notch for us right there. All right, thanks for riding with us today. Tomorrow we head into Anchorage and we'll talk about something. All right, we'll see you then.